Hi and welcome back to
Inspired to Game. I'm Sean.
And I am Lola. Today we are talking about Tales of Realms and Ruins. Now this is a game coming to crowdfunding for 2 to 3 players. Before we get into a review, we'll give you a quick overview of how it plays. Tales of Realms and Ruins is a game for 2 to 3 players in which you'll be vying for control of the lands to earn the throne while protecting it from the Othersiders. There are 3 realms to this land: the village, castle, and magic realms. You will play one hero from one of these realms. This is a deck building, area control game with events that can happen which offer you narrative choices. To begin, each player has a hand limit of 3 cards. On your turn, you get to perform 2 actions, which can include playing a card from your hand, purchasing a card from the realm in which your hero currently resides, using the effect of a realm which you currently control, or discarding 2 cards to train your hero. Now your cards begin with such actions like gaining gold, placing followers, moving either your hero or followers, your own or someone else's, around the board. The 3 realm actions are, if you are in the village, earning 3 gold, the magic realm, picking up 2 additional cards, or the castle, where you can switch the cost of purchasing cards between the realms. Now, purchasing cards within the realm each have their own asymmetrical cost, which can be moved around. When you purchase a card from the realm you are in, at the end of your turn, you flip over the next card in that deck. At the bottom of that card, it will tell you whether to put out Othersiders onto the board, and you get to choose which realm to put those Othersiders in, or it will have an event symbol. If it has an event symbol, you pull an event card and give the event book to another player around the table. On your event card, it will have a number that you can tell them to turn to in the book, and they will have an event to read out to you. On your card, there is some flavor text for you to read as well in the meantime. The event will usually always have some sort of choice that you get to make, either yourself as the decision maker or the group altogether. Now these decisions have effects within the game moving forward. As you will be placing Othersiders into the realms through cards, if at any point a realm gets dominated by the Othersiders, that realm gets flipped over and is ruined. Once all 3 realms are ruined at the same time, the game is immediately lost by everyone. However, once a realm is ruined, it can be made healthy again. The game also immediately ends if at the beginning of a player's turn, they dominate all 3 realms, meaning they have more followers in each of those realms than any other player. Alternatively, the game also immediately ends if any one deck in any of the realms has become empty. And in that case, the winner is determined by which realm is emptied. If it was the village realm that was emptied, it's whichever player has currently the most amount of coins. If it was the castle realm, it's going to be whoever has the most followers on the board. And if it was the magic realm, it's going to be who has the most cards within their deck. And that is how you play Tales of Realms and Ruins. Now, I love the artwork in this game. It is absolutely gorgeous. So both the cards, the art on the cards, as well as the board, and even that the board is reversible, like both sides are really, really beautiful.
And I love how each side forms its own image, almost like a puzzle, and even when you flip it over, it's still it's a darker view of that same location, but it still ties in with the other sides perfectly.
Yeah, and one side has dragons, so I like the dragons in the castle.
Is that the bad side?
That's the bad side.
It's the ruin side. I like the ruin side.
The cards are really nice too. They're long and thin. They're an unusual shape, and I really like them. I like the feel of them in my hand. So they're very nice cards and a really nice quality as well. They're each essentially divided into suits. So there's the village, the castle, and the magic realms. And they're each a different color, but the cards not only have different colors, but they're kind of exquisite designs along the edges of the card that look really quite lovely too. So we don't know what's coming out of this campaign at all. So this is a prototype that you see. I would love to see the heroes be either nice acrylic standees or minis.
Using that same artwork, I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, actually my preference even would be standees, but so that would be one thing I would love to see come out of the campaign, even if that is a deluxe component, but it would really add a lot to the ambiance of the game.
Yeah, as part of the prototype, the meeple really does, it's about the same size as the cube, so it can get a little bit lost if you're not paying attention.
So there's a lot of really interesting things going on in this game. So it's got that element of area control. It's got that element of deck building. There's also the events, which bring in a narrative decision-making capacity. There's a semi-cooperative element to it too, because everybody will lose if these other siders take over, so you have to be working at that together. And there's even the possibility of a trader mechanism, which if you pull the right event, that lets you actually work with the other siders and flip sides. So there is a lot of mechanics going along here. Oh, as well as there's even the training tree to advance your character, which is really, really nice as well. So it's really fascinating how all these elements fit together. And I think they all fit together really nicely too. The cost for the cards changes, or can change. It's not an exact thing, and they're different for each realm. So it starts off that if you're in the village realm, it's going to cost you 4 gold to buy one of those cards. If you're in the castle realm, it's going to cost you to remove one of your followers to purchase one of those. And in the magic realm, it costs you to discard 1 card and permanently remove from the game another card, both of the same suit from within your hand. So they're all variable costs, but if you use the castle power, then you can actually flip them around. So if there's one that works out better for you to use, you have the ability to change that, and it's really interesting how that works. And I really like the area control mechanism here. I like area control games. I like the puzzle that this affords. So there's a lot of opportunity throughout the game, both to add followers, and you can add them wherever you want when you get to add followers, as well as move. And your move can be moving your followers, moving your hero, or moving somebody else's. And that interplay of trying to get that lead in each of those positions is actually a really fun puzzle, especially because as soon as you have the majority in each of those areas, if it holds to the beginning of your next turn, you have instantly won the game. And it's fun trying to figure that out.
And even in a 2-player game, you've got that turn. If your opponent just put down the follower that lets them control all 3 realms, you've got your turn to do something about that. And hopefully you've got the cards to do it.
And from there, sometimes that area control battle can be a little tedious if somebody's really on the ball and it's just going back and forth and back and forth. And that's where I like that other potential end condition of finishing off one of the decks. And this can be done strategically too. So this is what I really like about the ideas behind this game. Like, I love that each deck has a different win condition. So if you finish off the villager one, then whoever around the table has the most gold wins. If you finish off the castle one, then it's whoever has the most followers on the board. If it's the magic realm, it's whoever has the most cards in their deck. So you could be working towards that. So say if you're working in the village realm and you're making lots of money using the village ability of gaining 3 gold in your turn, and you're buying cards, but you're also building up your supply of money in anticipation of that. So it doesn't have to come down to a straight battle for area. It can come down to these cards, and I really like that aspect.
One of my favorite things is the tech tree. The training for each hero is different for each realm. It's almost like asymmetrical powers.
Yeah, it can be actually really powerful to take some of those training advancements. However, there's a cost to that, which is really interesting. So each of those advancements you mark with one of your follower cubes, and they are locked on. So once they're there, you can never use them for the rest of the game. So each advancement you make is limiting how many followers you can get out on the board for the area control element. So you want to kind of balance getting some of these additional powers as a player and seeing how many of your followers you're using or losing because of that. And I think it actually is really neat thematically. The idea is as you are building your skills and training, you're kind of deviating from the common folk. So they're not identifying with you as much. So you don't have the same capacity for as much followers. And it makes some kind of neat thematic sense with that.
Never thought of it that way, but absolutely.
Yeah. It kind of says it in the rule book. Another aspect I really like of this game is the events, because it adds a really nice thematic element to the game. It makes it feel a little bit more immersive. So as we're all kind of vying to be leaders of each realm to gain the throne of this whole area, we are going to have to deal with events that occur which are going to require us to make decisions, and those decisions will reflect on what happens within the game moving forward. And these decisions are fun to make. So when you get to make a decision, so the other player will be reading out the text within the book, and sometimes the decision just is yours alone as a decision maker, but sometimes it's actually a group decision and everybody gets to participate. Sometimes it's a vote going to majority. There's a whole lot of really interesting things going on here, and it can actually make a big difference in your game going forward, exactly what decisions you make too.
And the events themselves are written in such a way that there's no clear, oh, I'm going to take that's going to be the way better choice, because sometimes that's the one that sounds better, and then they pull the rug out from under you, and it turns out that that's not the best choice.
Yeah, that also doesn't take too much time out of the game, so it doesn't disrupt the game flow. The game still moves really nice and smoothly. There's flavor text on each individual event card that you can read that gives you a little bit more, but you can skip that and just read what's in the book, which is just the straight event. Doesn't take too long to go through, so it still has a really nice flow to the game. Now this is a game that I really enjoyed playing. I really enjoyed how all these mechanics came together. It was a lot of fun and a very interesting style game. So if this sounded interesting to you at all, we will leave a link in the description when we have it to the campaign, and you can check it out. Thank you so much for watching us today.
If you've enjoyed this video, please support the channel by subscribing if you haven't already.
And as always, happy gaming, folks. Tales of Realms and Ruins. Woohoo! Let's get started. Okay. While trying to protect it from the Othersiders, an invasive species.
I like the board.
An invasive people bent on ruining everything. Okay, let me start again. In the description, we will leave a link when we have it to the campaign. I think you always got to listen carefully because I say crazy things. To begin, each player begins with a hand limit of 3 cards. What?
To begin, each player begins.
Okay. Is those events? Are those events? It's really interesting how